Welcome to We Drink and We Farm Things.
This is the Farm Comedy Podcast that is an adult happy hour for the farming community.
We drink adult beverages, talk about the ups and downs of farming things, and give zero clucks about not having the perfect farm life.
We keep it real with you and share the mistakes we've made and what we've learned so you can feel less alone in this farm thing.
We drink things, we farm things.
Oh, hey there, Sam.
We drink and farm things.
Oh, hey there, Beth. What you drinking out of that cute mug over there?
So my body said that it was thirsty, and I decided to be kind and give it water.
That's so nice of you.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I take such good
Yeah.
care of myself. Yeah. So nothing fancy to drink today, but I do have it in my fancy Outstanding in Her Field mug that our friend Caitlin over at Wild Rose Farmer and the Rural Woman podcast designed. And I'm totally in love with it. I love this design.
It's so cute. I love it.
So what are you drinking over there?
So I am drinking, well, I grabbed this vessel because I was like, this looks about the right size. And then it's like a little spooky because I mean, it's early September and it's not even fall yet, but I'm already like, is it time to put my Halloween decorations up?
Hey, you know what? Life is hard. If you like Halloween, you can put your stuff up whenever you want to.
Well, we're recording this and it's still technically the end of August. And I might have put my Halloween or my fall decor up while it was like 100-degree heat index this past weekend. And my husband comes in from mowing the lawn for like 6 hours and doing outside stuff. And he's just like shaking his head. It's like, hey, I did inside stuff. I cleaned too. So there's that.
Well, that's awesome.
Anyways, outside of my skull bat drinking vessel, inside of it is some leftover pumpkin spice coffee from this morning. And I put a good amount of whole milk in there and some Fairlife creamer. And before I put the warm coffee in with all of that with the ice, I put in some Ghirardelli caramel sauce and stirred it around.
Sounds so good.
I did this like on the fly too. And I was like, this is great. And it's pretty good. Probably could have used a little less milk, a little more coffee, but you got to work with what you have sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it sounds delicious.
Oh, so good.
Our drink peep this episode is our friend Ashley Kiernan, and she is at Ashley Kiernan over on the Instagram. So cheers, lady.
Cheers. Yeah. So in true fall forward fashion, we're going to talk about something a little seasonal that's not too early to talk about yet, I don't think. Because we're going to talk about chrysanthemums today.
I'm so excited about talking about chrysanthemums because I'll admit something really quick. I didn't know chrysanthemums were a thing until I moved to Ohio.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that I had like heard of them in passing, but maybe it was my age. So there's a couple of things that could have been in play here. Maybe it was my age. When I lived in Arizona, I just didn't like do that type of seasonal decorating. Or it might have just been because it was the desert in Arizona. So like the idea of buying seasonal flowers to put out, like just to have the sun cook them, like didn't ever appeal to me or sound like anything I wanted to do. It's funny though, now that I'm like into flowers, I have friends on Facebook that live in the desert and I see that they buy seasonal flowers all the time. So the other thing that it could have been is that I had a house in Phoenix that faced east-west. So it got the direct sun all day long, no matter which porch you put the pretty flowers on. So like keeping them alive is basically, it was a non-starter.
Right,
for me,
like
where
a
I
full-time
lived.
job.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, even here during a heat wave, I have to water the pots twice a day. So I can't imagine what I would have to do there when it gets to be 120 and it's dry and sunny all day. So anyways, that was my really long story about how I had not bought a mum until I moved to Ohio. And the very first year that I saw them at the flower shop and bought like some pots of them to like put on the porch, I was hooked. I was like, these are the most incredible flowers ever. How did I live without these? Like, I need more mums in my life.
They are so good. Unfortunately, my chickens do like to snack on them sometimes, so I really got to watch it with them because mine free range and they get to do what they want. But they're still one of my favorite fall flowers, so we're going to talk about that today, and we will be referring to an article from almanac.com all about chrysanthemums. So yeah, we'll just get right to it.
Chrysanthemums are a member of the Asteraceae. I don't know.
Works for me.
I butchered it. I'm sorry. Karen from Just Grow Something podcast, please give me a lesson on how to pronounce all of these names or all of these plants. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
It is part of that family, which is related to dahlias, sunflowers, marigolds, zinnias, cosmos, all of our favorite flowers. I mean, all of those flowers are gorgeous. They'll have that like very adorable little head with all the petals and stuff. And each bloom is actually made of hundreds of tiny flowers that are called florets. And I did not know that. And that totally explains where floret flower got their name from. Now I get it. Because I always thought that was such a beautiful word and I was wondering where it came from. So there you have it.
Now we all know.
Right. So each plant ranges in size from a common small cushion mum, which have like the little teeny tiny ones, all the way to the giant spider mums. And they also bloom in almost every color of the rainbow. So yellow, lavender, pink, purple, red, bronze, orange and white. I mean, oh my gosh, there's so many colors of mums, and they've all been like interbred and crossbred with each other to change the shades of the colors. You can basically get a mom in just about anything. And in fact, one of my favorite things is that you can do the tricolor baskets of mums, and you can have like a ton of different mums growing together.
All the mums.
All the mums.
So a brief history for the chrysanthemum. It was actually first cultivated in China as a flowering herb back in 15th century BC. And based on early illustrations, it appeared to be more daisy-like than anything else.
I could see that.
Yeah. Well, since then, the mum has been bred in so many shapes and sizes, and it's showy, and there's lots of colors. It barely resembles what it did back in the 15th century BC. So it's evolved with us, we can say.
Yeah. I mean, I can totally see that. A lot of our plants and vegetables and things of that nature, they're all nothing like they were when they were originally cultivated. So that's really interesting.
According to the National Chrysanthemum Society, because that is a thing, the genus Chrysanthemum once included more species, but was split several decades ago into several genera, which is like genus plural, putting the economically important Florus chrysanthemum in the genus Dendranthema.
Dendranthema sounds right.
Close enough.
Yeah.
This is why we linked the article in the show notes, so you guys can go read it yourself if we butcher these names really badly. So the placement of the Florus chrysanthemum in the genus was very contentious. Apparently this was really controversial stuff in the chrysanthemum world.
Oh, wait, there was like some mum drama?
It sounds like it. So a ruling of the International Code of Botanical Nomenclature in 1999 changed the defining species of the genus Chrysanthemum to C. indicum, giving the florist mum back its prized generic name. The National Chrysanthemum Society divides bloom forms into 13 classes. So you could have a couple different kinds of class of mum on your property in the fall. Who knew?
Oh,
Because like I've only seen, I feel like the one. So this leads me to believe that I just for like the podcast and scientific purposes, I need to stop at the greenhouse that I was stopping at a couple months ago just to like see what this means and probably
well,
pick some up.
so interestingly enough, I feel like I can say fairly confidently that most of the time when I go to a greenhouse, look for mums, it is that one style, that you see everywhere and that you pick up or that you picture in your head when you're thinking of mums. But I had mentioned Florette earlier. She has a book. I think it's A Year in Flowers, or maybe she might have some information about it in her Dahlia book. I can't remember which book it is, but she talks about often, especially around this time of year, about how if you're not a chrysanthemum fan, you're just not checking out the right kind of chrysanthemums. And then she has a picture that has like, gosh, I mean, like 50 different chrysanthemum types. It's so many. And I had no idea that they could come in so many different shapes and sizes.
Wow.
I thought that they were all that little tiny, like daisy type head with the multiple layers of petals. Yeah.
Right.
So if you don't like mums, like if mums aren't your thing, you might just need to check out the different styles of mums. I mean, how you get a hold of those though, I have no idea. You have to grow them from seed yourself. If your greenhouse doesn't carry them, or encourage them to carry some different styles to appeal to more people. I don't know.
Huh. Interesting.
So decorative mums that are sold in the garden centers in autumn should be treated as annuals. So that means don't try to save them and continue to grow them. And I actually have some experience with that right now. I had some mums from last year that were still alive. They have now turned brown and rotted. I don't know why.
Oh,
yeah. And I took good
weird.
care of them and like fed them and everything. But for some reason, the greenhouse mums they made it all the way through winter. They got through most of summer and then suddenly started to rot. So they're decorative gift plants. So they're not bred to be hardy. And that probably explains it. They're like color, their size, their flower heads. That's what people are super into them for. So if you put them in the ground in late summer, they won't make it through the winter in most cold regions.
All right. So planting. Mums generally grow to a width and height of 1 to 3 feet. So keep this in mind when you're planting them in your garden or in some kind of pot. Like they can get pretty big and bushy. You can start mums indoors from seed 6 to 8 weeks before your last spring frost date. And for best results, select a spot in full sun away from trees and big shrubs. Soil should be well drained and evenly moist soil. Mums do not like standing in water and will quickly rot if left too wet. And add aged manure or compost to the soil too. So that's like basic plant stuff. Like they just like to be pampered. So pamper your mums just like you would any other plant.
They like dry feet. They like food.
Yeah.
I mean, they're basically a person.
I mean, me too. Yeah, me too. And make sure you plant the mum in the ground at the same depth as it is grown in the pot. And plant mums 18 to 36 inches apart, depending on the mature size of the plant.
And to care for your mums, remember they're heavy feeders, so they should be fertilized monthly. A balanced 10-10-10 feeder is what is suggested for mums. And you want to make sure that there's space enough that you can have good air circulation around the plants. They're susceptible to powdery mildew. So just like other plants that are susceptible to that, that's why they need some good air circulation, because once that gets in there and gets trapped, like forget it. It just spreads like wildfire. Just like all of your plants, you want to be sure and mulch them because that will help conserve the soil moisture and keep the weeds out. They like deep watering, but they don't like getting their leaves wet. So they prefer if you don't shower them when you water them. And when new shoots reach to about 3 to 4 inches tall, you can pinch off the top, leaving 2 to 3 leaves on the shoot. And this will create a bushier plant. So this is how they get that like nice round, sort of like ice cream scoop shape that mums are known for. And if you continue pinching once a month until mid-July, when flower buds develop, you'll have better coverage. And you are supposed to stop fertilizing them once the flower buds emerge. You can add more mulch to the plant. After the ground has frozen, this will help keep it alive just a little bit longer. And then you're not supposed to cut your mums back when tidying up flower beds in the fall. So if you're planting mums from seed that can be grown in your zone, don't cut the mums back, because that extra foliage helps protect the plant to survive through the winter. The dead growth helps insulate the roots. And then you cut off the dead stems and leaves when you see the first green shoots in the spring.
Nice. All right. So overwintering mums. So these are the ones that are for your zone, not necessarily the ones you get at the greenhouse. But in really cold areas, overwinter the plants in the basement or in a dark, cold closet. Pot up plants after the first frost in the fall. Include as much of the roots as possible. So leave the foliage on the plants until spring, and then you're going to water it really well. And obviously, like we said before, it's got to be in a dark spot, ideally between 32 and 50 degrees. So that could be your garage if that's a little on the warmer side, or your basement, or like we heard in Bev's other episode when we were talking about hops, maybe a bathroom you're not using, you can shut the vents. The plants will hibernate for the winter if you keep the roots damp. And then you just want to make sure you're checking the pot weekly. In the spring, introduce plants gradually to light and set them out in the garden after the last killing frost. So don't like blind your plant by like being like, here it is, here's the sun. You've been in the dark for 6 months. You can't do that.
Yeah, it'll be like a vampire.
Yes. Be like, I'm gonna die.
Like, no.
No.
So for the mums that you grow in your garden, they need to be divided every 2 to 3 years, just like a lot of your perennial plants need to be divided. You'll divide them in the spring when you see new growth, and you can divide them using a large knife to cut out the old central portion of the plants, and then you just discard it. You cut the remaining portions into sections, and each section should have several shoots and a good root system, and then you can replant them. And ta-da, you just made more mums out of what used to be one mum. So congratulations.
Multiplication.
It's how math works.
Yes. All right. So a few pests and diseases to keep out for. We already mentioned powdery mildew, but also aphids and mites really like mums as well. So you just want to keep an eye out for those. And if you see them, just, Google some ways to deter them from hanging out on your plants. I don't know off the top of my head what would be a good idea for mums for those two. Do you?
Neem oil is what I would go for.
Yes.
Yeah. That's my go-to for organic gardening when I'm trying to take care of pests. For powdery mildew, for Saturday lime does an excellent job.
Good stuff.
So here's a fun fact about chrysanthemums. The word chrysanthemum actually comes from the Greek word chryс, meaning golden, and athemion, meaning flower. So its original color was golden, though mums now come in many colors. So basically, chrysanthemum means golden flower.
Oh, that's easy to remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And another fun fact is that both the Chinese and Japanese consider mums an emblem of youth. The Chinese also believe that it prevents gray hair. I don't know if like just having them around prevents gray hair, or if you have to eat them to prevent gray hair. We might have to dig into that a little more, but I don't think just being in a mom's presence would stop your gray hair. I could be wrong.
I mean, look, I've heard stranger things,
Yeah.
so it would surprise me zero if you just had to hang a bunch of mums around and you didn't get gray hair.
It's that easy.
So it's also said that a single chrysanthemum petal placed in the bottom of a glass of wine enhances longevity. Like, what kind of longevity? Oh, wait.
Like the longevity of wine, or the longevity of your life, or something else.
So because of what the next one is, I think it's that something else.
Oh, well, in the language of flowers, a red mum means I love you, and a white mum means innocence, purity, and pure love.
Yeah.
So I wonder what color I want to bang is, because I think that's what you're getting at.
That's exactly what I'm getting at.
Well, there's like yellow and orange. So, but I feel like red's a little more like bow chicka wow.
Yeah, I feel like too. Well, I mean, the red one means I love you. So, I mean,
lava.
There we go.
We'll go with that. Okay.
The mum is November's birth flower.
Awesome. My younger brother's born in November, so I guess I will be sending him a mum late in the fall.
He'll love it. He'll
probably be like, what the hell is this? But my sister-in-law will probably enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then our last fun fact is that mums actually repel insects that are not aphids and mites.
Oh.
So, yeah. So
I like it.
Insect repellents. I like that too.
Yeah. I mean, anything to have less bugs in the house come fall, because it seems like that season they're just like racing to get in.
Yes. Yeah. Even right now, I feel like they're even like, it's too dang hot outside. We're coming in. Give us your air conditioning.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So that's it about mums. We hope you guys enjoyed that. I definitely learned a lot that I'm not sure I needed to know, but I'm glad to know now.
Yeah. I think I had some mum questions answered about my past mum failures, and also perhaps why I hadn't seen any like more interesting mums at the greenhouse. So now I know that if I want this super cool mums, I probably just have to grow them myself, which I'm super into. So, I mean, I don't know, expect lots of mum growing from me next year.
Yeah. Heck yeah. All right. So now it's time for We Can't Even Corner. So Bev, what can't you even about this week?
Okay. So this past weekend, actually here, I got to back up just a little bit. So on Sundays at our house is screen-free days for the kids. So we decided we needed to have like a couple days where we didn't have, like video games and like YouTube and stuff, just because we were finding that nobody wanted to go do anything, because everyone was just like sitting around on their phones or on their YouTube or whatever. So we decided to make Sunday is one of those screen-free days. And so it's a family day. And it was so hot this Sunday. We did some work in the garden. We wanted to die afterwards. It was that hot. So we were sitting around afterwards and we're like, we should take the kids to go do something because it's a screen-free day. Like, what can we possibly take them to go do? And I remembered one of my friends telling me about a place nearby that made these ridiculous milkshakes with like stuff all like piled in them. And I had never heard of this place or seen it. And I sent them a message and asked them where it was. And it turns out it's just 40 minutes on US 50 west of us. So it's basically like on the way to Cincinnati. So we drove by this place when we went and saw My Favorite Murder.
Oh gosh, that was so long ago now.
Oh, I know. Oh, I didn't tell me about it. But so we've driven by this place like 100 times. I've never noticed it. Like, so I'm a little worried. I'm like, this is not going to end up being like what I think it is. Like I'm building this like really cool thing up in my head and it's not going to be this. But no, we got there and I'm telling you, oh my gosh, they were the coolest milkshakes I've ever
Oh,
seen. Aurora got a candy bar one. It was chocolate. It was a chocolate milkshake. It was covered in whipped cream and it had candy bars just like stuck all
oh,
out of it. And it was like rims with M&Ms. And Orion got a sour one. So he had like a strawberry
mm,
sour milkshake and it had like sour patch kids stuck to the outside and like those sour
wow.
rope things like hanging out of it. Yeah. They were really pretty. They were huge. They were so good. And it was really close to my house. And now I'm questioning all of my friendships because I don't know why nobody told me about this place.
And that's the actual we can't even.
And that's the actual we can't even. There has been a place, and this place has been open since like 1978. It's like a family owned and operated gas station that's been open since 1978. Yeah. And they have pizza and they have like it's a full dairy bar. So they've got like,
Oh,
desserts
wow.
and milkshakes and banana splits and like all the 9 yards. But anyways, I can't believe that this place has existed 40 minutes from me and no one told me about it. Because
Oh my
like for most people, if you heard 40 minutes, you're like, why would anyone drive 40 minutes for ice cream? But if you come to my house, you'll get it. Like I have to drive 30
God.
minutes for anything. So 10 more
Yes.
minutes for like the fanciest milkshake ever isn't that big of a deal.
Yeah. You're not
And
lying.
funny thing, our friend Bethany over at Aurora Blue Farm, Ohio, she lives on the other side of Cincinnati. She messaged me to tell me that they have
Oh.
amazing pizza there. So sometime I'll
Ooh.
have to go there and get pizza. 40 minutes is a little far for pizza because I can't get it home and still have it warm, but we could
Right.
stop there like on the way to Cincinnati and eat pizza.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. That's awesome. There's a place in Howell, which is only like 10-15 minutes away from me, that has those kinds of milkshakes and has things like chocolate covered bacon and mini cheesecakes and like, oh, there's a few places in Howell like that. You- That's why I don't go there very often because they have awesome breweries and they have snacks. So the thing that I want to do after I have a drink or two is have a snack. So
Uh-huh.
it's like for my waistline, I don't go there very often, but there's lots of good stuff down there too.
Mm.
Thanks for sharing that. Now, if I ever come down and visit you, we'll be hitting that place up.
Yeah, we'll be going to Terry's. One of the milkshakes has a whole slice of rainbow cake
Oh
that
my
just like gets
gosh.
stuck on top of it. Yeah, like have you ever seen those like layered cakes that has like all the different colors of the rainbow in
Yeah.
it? They have a milkshake that has like that stuck on top
Oh
of
my
it. I
God.
really wanted it, but I knew I'd have to help the kids with theirs, so I
Yeah.
I didn't order my own because I'm an adult.
Aw. But being an adult means that you should have just ordered the damn milkshake. But I can see why you didn't. That's very
Yeah.
reasonable of you.
Yeah. Oh, and
Yes.
they are $10 a piece too. So like if we all
Oh,
ordered our own milkshake, it'd be like $40 a milkshake.
yeah. That's a lot.
It is. It's a lot, but they're worth it. Like they're worth it.
Ugh.
So what's your can't even?
So my mom sent me another one and I'm gonna steal it this week. And it's that there's a Wisconsin McDonald's customers that was shocked by a cow in the drive-through.
Oh, maybe he wanted some chicken McNuggets.
Well, he might have, and he would have told his owner who was driving the car that the cow was in, like a whole cow, like not a calf. This looks like an actual like big Jersey type cow, is my guess.
Okay, I gotta
Um,
click on this link and take a look at it.
yeah. So hopefully he didn't order hamburger because that would have just been rude.
Mm.
Chicken nugget seems more appropriate.
It
Or at
does.
least like a burger bun. Um, but yeah, so there's a video and there's a picture of this cow just like hanging out in the back of the car.
Oh my gosh.
So if you guys want to see that, it's pretty funny. And kind of unbelievable, but like I've put goats in the back of my car before. They're a lot smaller, but if you had a well-behaved cow that was maybe halter trained and you could put some tarps down or something, and you told he or she to go to the bathroom before they left the house, maybe it would be fine. But like, could you imagine if your cow just took a crap in your car while you're driving? That would be so bad for so many different reasons.
I'd just throw the car away.
Yeah, just burn it.
Just burn it. I'm looking at this picture, and it's like a cow in the back seat of a sedan.
Yeah.
Just like a regular old 4-door sedan.
It's not like
insane.
an SUV. No, it's like a little car.
Yeah, it's like a car. Oh my gosh.
So make sure you guys check the show notes out so you can click on that link and see what we're talking about, because it's almost like something you have to see to believe. Honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
So be sure to leave us a review over on Apple Podcast. We do a review of the week where we read one a week, and that person is entered into a drawing, so that we will pick a winner each month at random, and that person will get an exclusive coffee mug that is not and will never be in the shop. And the winner for August is Becky Mayhem Myers.
Woohoo!
Yeah, Becky. And we did find out that Mayhem is not her middle name, but it is her roller derby name, Mayhem Myers. So we did find that out. So thank you, Becky. Please reach out to us with your address and we will get you your fancy mug.
We sure will. And I can't wait until you see it. It's like my favorite mug ever.
So good. All right, Bev, do you want to read this week's review? Yes.
This week's review is from Starburst Daddy. That's quite the name. Actually, it's Country Cutie 870 on Instagram. So it's Donna. But I wonder if she just used somebody else's Apple Podcast, because it's hilarious.
Either way, no judgment.
No judgment from us. I love it. I think Starburst Daddy is a great Apple Podcast nickname. I wonder if it's kind of like when you made your screen name like back while you were still in high school. Like, what was yours? Do you remember?
It was Sammy Cakes, but Cakes was Kakes, because people would call me Sammy Cakes, but my middle name is K, like Kay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was mine. What was yours?
Mine was Princess Bev 84.
Yes. I love it.
But that was like pre-high school, because we like always had a computer. So I think I made that up when I was in elementary school or middle school.
Fair.
All right. The title of this review is Sorry, I stumbled.
That's okay.
All right. The title of this review is Farmtastic Fun Talk. Ooh, that's a tongue twister.
Yeah, it is.
Drink and Farm never disappoints. Sam and Bev have radiating positivity about agriculture and can really bring a laugh to learning. I recommend this podcast to many of my friends, both farming and non, with over 100 episodes. Everyone can find something that interests them. They have an awesome way of organizing their talks and keep every episode honest and informative. I ran into this podcast on accident just last year looking for chicken podcasts to listen to on my commute to work, but this has amounted to way more. Quite honestly, this podcast was one of the best things I discovered in 2020. As a young woman stepping into agriculture, this podcast has definitely kept it real and made me feel less alone in my farming adventures. With every farm story, mini-sode, and can't even sesh, I fall more in love with this podcast. Bev, Sam, and the guest speakers all help me to laugh through the challenging things and drive me to continue growing my farm dreams. These ladies lay it all out there, and I admire them for being the undeniably passionate joy farmers they both are. Thank you for what you do, and keep it up. P.S. You should totally do an episode about emus.
Yeah,
we should.
Not covered, and I've toyed with the idea of emus before, but they're very large birds.
They are very large birds. And I wonder if the woman from Useless Farm would talk to us about emus.
Oh, yeah. Because is it Karen?
Uh-huh.
She's got one. Yeah.
Yeah, she has
Karen's
an emu named Karen. And Her emus are scary. Like I love that she
Yeah.
puts that out there because I think that you can get this idea that all farm animals are adorable and cuddly. Because when they're babies, a lot of them are. But
Yeah.
then they grow up into adults, like cows with horns that decide they want
Mhm.
space, or emus that will peck your face off when they're in a bad mood.
Yeah. The sound an emu makes is just seems like it's straight out of a horror movie too.
Hmm.
Like kind of like I think it's the Japanese horror film. I forget what it's called. But the creature makes like a
That's it's not the
The
Ring.
Grudge.
It's the Grudge.
The Grudge.
Yeah.
Yes. But emus make more like I can't even replicate an emu sound, but that is the sound that I could like insert into the Grudge and maybe be equally as terrified. Maybe. But they're still cool birds. So we'll see. Maybe one day when I win the lottery and can have somebody come build me an 8-foot tall fence.
Right. Because that's what you need for an emu. They're like taller than you.
Yes. But anyways, thanks, Donna. That is like one of the nicest reviews ever, but I think I say that every week because I always appreciate when we get a nice review. So thank you.
We do. We love every review. Thank you. And hearing people's honest words like truly help motivate us to keep making this podcast and doing what we're doing, because it reminds us that that there are people that love it and enjoy it. So thank you.
You like us. You really like us. So make sure if you have not checked out our new series, Straight No Chaser, over on Patreon, that you just do that. It does require you to be a patron at the $5 level or above, but we do one of these episodes every week and it's a lot of fun. And it's a great way to support the podcast while getting some extra content from us. So go check it out at patreon.com/drinkinfarm. Yes.
Yeah. And if you like the podcast, chances are you will love Straight No Chaser because it's basically this, but in 5 minutes. So we like really pack it in.
Yes.
Be sure and hit the subscribe button or the follow button, depending on where you're listening at or watching at or whatever. And download the episode when you listen if it's on a podcast player, because this helps more people like you find the podcast.
And if you're listening to us on YouTube or a podcast player, you should tell your Instagram following if you have one of those Instagram accounts. And you can do that by sharing in your stories that you're listening to us, and you can tag us at Drink and Farm, because if you do that, we're going to send you a promo code as a thank you just for that episode. That'll give you a % off in our merch shop.
And make sure you take a look at the show notes. You'll find links to the article we discussed today about chrysanthemums, links to our can't evens, and anything else that's cool that we brought up and need you to know about.
I'm just going to show YouTube this really quick. Can't really see her. Look at that freak in the background.
I don't know how you focus with that in the background. That's amazing.
Taking a nap. I wish you guys could see better, but
that's super cute.
That's just for you, YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So until next time,
drink,
farm,
and give 0+. Bye, guys.
We drink things,
Bye.
we farm things, we drink and farm things.